Lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hanegriff.
For some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Walk-Ons in Bruley, welcome to the Monday edition of Live at Lunch. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hanegriff back from vacation. Jimmy Ott, Max Gotro, Jordan Kinchin's back in the studio. The whole group back together. At least for a couple days.
For 3.5 days.
Yeah, for a few days anyway.
Yes. It's that time of the year.
Yeah, exactly. I just drove by Bruley High School where it says, have a great summer. You know,
Yes.
Everybody's having I hope everybody's having a great summer.
How's the beach?
It's beachy. Just beachy. Yeah, it was fine. We had a nice time. Got to enjoy some time off. Got to do a lot of fun things. Spent a lot of time with the family. Was down at the beach with them and got to hang out with some friends on the 4th of July and around that. So all of it was good. Got back into town and just kind of settled in for the golf and the tennis and the draft yesterday. Media days. Got up this morning, hit the ground running. So pretty good. What did I miss?
Another Alcaraz Center final.
I watched all of that yesterday.
Which, it was close to getting to a fifth set. I mean, it was Center's turn this time, but I mean, these two are so much better than everybody else. But Dimitrov was going to put him away, and on Monday. And, up 2-0 and 2-all, and this is a guy that's had a lot of injuries. And Center, it just wasn't his day. And, Charlie, I'm still trying to wrap my head around my worst handicap ever, and that was Anisimova. And look, when a 240 dog, loses, or 220 dog, it's no big deal. But, I mean, you talk about – I didn't know there was a field rush fade in tennis. Because – or is it – matchups make fights kind of deal? I mean, she's the clear number one player in the world is Sabalenka. She's 6-3 against her. This is no underdog, little engine that could. You're not 6-3 against the consensus number one player in the world if you can't play. You're not top level. And she just mentally collapsed. And with a little history of some mental struggles, depression and things like that, it was sad. I mean, it was 6-love, and it was just really. I'm trying to put my wrap, but there's no comp. I'll try to say, Ole Miss beat Georgia, and there's not many people that could do that, but then they lose to Kentucky. But that wasn't in sequence, was it? Alabama had maybe their best win of the season this year, and then threw up at Vandy the next week. We've seen this field rush fade and this. Hangover effect from emotional win. But wow, this was really something on Sunday. Saturday rather. So,
all right. I didn't get to see that. I didn't get to see
you didn't miss anything.
The whole. Yeah, everybody that I talked to said that the Saturday was an awful.
People were texting me as this woman played tennis.
My tennis.
I said I think she's using the wrong hand. I don't know. It was so bad, and she smashed Sabalenka. I mean, it was just. You get what you get. So, and Swiatek is former number one. She's won multiple majors, several majors. But this is, by everybody's account, not by mine, this is inarguable. This is her weakest surface. And so she took care of business where the draw through fell more than favorably for her, but she was not taking any chances. So she did improve, but I think the highest seed she beat was Anisimova, was 13. Yeah. So it was a really favorable draw, but she did what nobody else could, was avoid the upsets.
A lot going on this morning. We're going to get to media days in a second. The MLB drafts kicked back up about a half hour ago, and there's been a lot on the LSU front. So the very first pick today, which is the first pick of the fourth round, Landon Hodge catcher from California, went to the Chicago White Sox. He was an LSU signee. Once they got Omar Cerna, who pulled his name out of the draft about 10 days ago or so, whatever day it was, the odds of getting Hodge to campus weren't great, even with or without Cerna. So him going in at the top of the fourth round, not a big surprise. 6 picks later, Miguel Simi. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Pitcher out of Country Day in New York. Another LSU signee that was pick number 111. He clocked 101 miles an hour in high school. At 6'4", there wasn't much chance he was getting to campus. The one that hurts, though, and the one that they started the day hopeful that he would slide was Briggs McKenzie, the big 6'2" left-hander from North Carolina. He was sort of on the fence. I thought if they could get through the 5th round today without him going, they had a pretty good chance to get him to campus. He goes with pick number 127 to the Braves. Slot of 588. You got to figure if they took him, I just figure in the top 4 or 5 rounds they've got an agreement before they take these guys, or they pass on them. And you see some of the names from a talent standpoint that are still on the board, and you go, well, okay, that's money. And so McKenzie went in the latter portion of the 4th round to Atlanta. That one hurts. That's one of the ones that LSU was hoping to get. Yesterday, so that leaves really Marcos Paz as kind of an on-the-fence guy. Paz, a right-handed pitcher from Texas. I think they're okay there, but we'll continue to monitor this. And then over the weekend, Ricken, the big 6'5" right-hander from California, who's up at 97 miles an hour, pulled his name out of the draft, so they're going to get him. The big surprises yesterday, well, not the big surprises, but the one guy that they were hoping to get that went yesterday was Dean Moss, the outfielder from California. They were hoping that he would slide. He ended up going in the 3rd round, so got to figure that they're going to he went at number 67. And then the one that off the current team that was a little bit of a surprise was Ethan Fry, who went 95th overall to the Astros with a slot value of over $800,000, and I'm told that the Astros are going to sweeten that pot and be a little bit over slot there, that number could touch 7 figures. So Ethan Fry, who LSU had a really nice NIL package together for, and we're hoping to get back next year, that's not going to happen. So that's kind of where we are with the draft. We got a few names left that we're watching, Paz being the most prominent of that. Could have been better, could have been worse. Kind of always, I guess, happens that way. But here early today, we were hoping that Briggs McKenzie would slide through. He did not. Also of note, local product, Luke Hill, who prepped first at Arizona State and then at Ole Miss, went with the 132nd pick. That's toward the latter end of the 4th round to the Cleveland Guardians. And right now we are in the beginning part of round 5. So that's where we at.
Jay Johnson going to have a good roster, Ben. Don't you sweat that.
He's going to have a good roster.
He's going to have a good roster.
He's going to have a good roster.
Special,
Yeah. Look,
did he have a national championship roster last year? No. He did have one this year.
Yeah.
So
the deal is, you knew you were going to lose a lot of these kids. There was never any chance that Quentin Young was going to come to campus or that.
How many do you get? What's it cost you to sign extra and let him fall? This is the Turtle Thomas approach. You're going to sign a bunch of them. Some of them going to fall through.
Sure. And you knew that. And I would say that they've gotten 2 or 3 kids so far. With Ricken being probably the most prominent one that got to campus. Well, that's fantastic. So there's a couple of them there. They didn't do while I was gone. And Landon Hodge, okay, would have been nice to get him, but they got another catcher when Cerna opted out of the draft. They did not do as well in the transfer portal as I think they wanted to. I think part of that was it wasn't bad, but it wasn't quite as good. It wasn't everything that you wanted. Part of that was that they were in Omaha. The other part of it is, and this is going to come up a lot, so we just talk about it, is revenue sharing kicked in on July 1st. LSU got 2% to baseball. Is that a good number? I know it ain't what they wanted. So that tug of war is never going to stop.
What is the other sports by comparison?
Well,
which women's basketball?
Women's basketball is about twice what but twice. And in the men's basketball program is at about 15%, which is
wow.
That's normal for what the rest
other
of the
places.
The other schools are doing. The thing is, you're not getting a return on your investment, and it's quite frankly, it's leading to the question. Football gets the big chunk. Kelly's been successful, not as successful as they want him to be, but he hasn't been a flop. Baseball has been at the elite level. Women's basketball has been at an elite level. Softball's at least in the top 15. And the men's basketball program is, going to get 15%. What kind of return on your investment are you going to get? They weren't getting enough money, but if what you're giving them is producing a 14th place team, are you getting that return on your investment? And clearly, so far, under Matt McMahon, they're not. Now, this is new revenue sharing. It's a new team. We'll see what they do. But everybody else that's getting money off the revenue share is performing at a pretty good level. Anywhere from the absolute elite baseball team wins a national championship, gymnastics in the last 8, softball in the last 16.
Which gymnastics get?
Less than
2.
Yeah, less than the 2%. All of these programs are performing at the very least, top 15 level in the country. Okay, and the men's basketball program is light years behind. So that's what you're.
I was just interested because there's LSU's fan interest. It's been shaped, because of success. I mean, people are going to follow a winner. You flip the success of the basketball and the baseball program, and it'll be completely lopsided. It'll be friends and family only at the baseball games. But that's where you are. But I was just wondering how they would divvy that up.
Yeah, and we're watching
as an athletic department,
and we're watching what the other schools are doing too. For instance, I was really interested what Brian O'Connor got to leave Virginia to go to Mississippi State. Well, the number I got, 10%.
Wow.
At Mississippi State. Okay. Wow. Well, you can take that money at Mississippi State. You can really make a dent.
But you know that there is a private group of baseball supporters financially here that are in place that aren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
that Johnson has connected with.
Yes, and that now we're getting into the new NIL. The CSC, the committee that decides whether these NIL deals are legitimate or not, they have rejected roughly 60% of these deals that have been put off so far. They're going to get sued, and we'll play that game. But yes, you're right. Those boosters are still in place, and there's going to be a tug of war over money no matter what.
I just how that has any chance of standing in court where you come in and say no, this is not market value. No, the business owner determines that.
Right. Yeah, you're going to lose that one every time.
The business owner determines that. I mean, we get underpaid and overpaid every day. Right. I mean, like that's not how it works. So the business, they want to take a loss, and they don't think they're getting their money's worth. It's up to them to determine. Yeah. It's not up to some arbitrator.
The NCAA thinks it is, at least for now. But
we know the NCAA has lost in court before.
They have been routed, like Napoleon out of Moscow routed.
And this is an easy one to predict.
It really is. And Sankey talked a little bit about the bill that's up now, but it's only a bill so far. It's bipartisan, but that doesn't mean anything.
He's going Schoolhouse Rock.
Yeah, it was a little fun. We got a lot to talk about from what Sankey said. I want to see what you think because I know what I took away from it. Also listen to Brian Kelly this morning already. He was the first coach at the podium. Got some thoughts on that. We're here at Walk-Ons in Brewley.
Walk-Ons in Brewley, Max. This is where you come into play.
Nice what
makes Walk-Ons in Brewley just a little bit, besides the sort of the west side of the river athletic notables that we have in our in the back of Walk-Ons with Randall Gay and others and Tracy Porter and all that. But what makes this place a little bit more Brewley than the other Walk-Ons locations?
Well, it's a good spot to watch all your TVs. They're going to make sure you get all your TVs right. The LSU baseball game when Brewley Athletics is in, they're putting those games on. But They're also supporting the community. This week we had the Bruley High Alumni Softball Tournament. They were out there,
All right.
helping out during the rain delay, giving some food out, having a good time. So they support the local athletics as well. It's always a great time here, and it's kind of the meeting spot for any big event, big occasion. You come here to walk-ons at Bruley for sure.
Yes, indeed. And the walk-ons, they're getting their meetings every day. The service it's going to be always on point. So from the servers to the bartenders to the hostesses, always a good time. You're going to get consistency in food as well. So you got flavored lemonades for some of the summertime as well over here at Walk-Ons. Always some sort of seasonal special that's going on over here with all the great menu items and consistency over the years.
Beer.
They'll take care of your fantasy football drafts.
Didn't you have enough beer on the beach, boy?
4 dozen beers on tap here. Yeah. Might have been some margaritas. Live at the Walk-Ons in Bruley, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
With Ott and Hanny from Walk-Ons in Bruley on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Remember, the show's available on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net. As we continue to monitor the Major League Baseball draft, they are nearing the end of round number 5. No more LSU news to report. We're also watching, of course, Jared Jones, who figures in here at some point, maybe sliding just a little bit right now, but we'll keep you up to date on what's going on there. Jimmy, you listened to Greg Sankey this morning. I listened to the thing. This was there's a number of things here. First of all, this speech that he gives every year is big on concepts and very shallow on details, okay? He'll tell you about the big issues that are facing them, but not about specific, things that they're doing to fix them, more about how they're attacking the problem. For instance, he flat would not answer Heather Dinich's question about the talks that he's had with Tony Petitti of the Big Ten about how close they are on agreeing on the playoff format moving forward. So that's not a big surprise. He's not going to offer specific details about what they're doing to fix things. 4 years ago, they didn't even announce that Oklahoma and Texas were joining the conference until day 3 when the story broke when Sankey was down on Media Row. So he didn't even put that in his opening salvo. The biggest point of interest for me is the schedule. And
I was about to say,
would they be going to 9 games? BS,
2-year Band-Aid.
Yeah. So here's what he said. He says, first of all, he came out firing. Nobody wants to swap schedules with us. No other league wants to play the schedules that we play, meaning that this is the biggest, the deepest, and the most powerful league. And he went on to say, every one of us played 8 conference games. It's not a big secret. We all also played a Power 4 game. Everybody's required to play a Power 4 game. Everybody did. Some schools played 2. LSU was one of those that played 2 last year.
There's some people that would argue with that. That's opinion, but it was kind of...
Well, they're playing out of Power 4 conferences now.
But he's trying to justify staying at 8 when others are at 9.
That's right. There's a big difference between playing USC and playing Wake Forest, okay? When increasing the number of conference games is appropriate if strength of schedule and strength of record is appropriate.
You're going to tell the committee that's going to change from year to year? You're going to dictate to them? Okay.
Well, what he's saying is if all you're going to do, this is how I took it, if all you're going to do is look at the loss column, which is all they did last year, if all you're going to do is look at the loss column, we ain't expanding the number of games because why would we? All we're going to do is hurt ourselves. Now, if you start to look at this about
dictate what the committee does.
Well,
we all know it's a problem. I've been barking up. This is how long I've been saying this.
Yeah, this is nothing new for us. But you're finally at the point now where by December the 1st, they have to tell ESPN whether they're going to 14 or 16 or they're staying at 12. December 1st.
They're going to go to 16.
That's what I think too.
5 and 11.
I'm less certain about that. The Big Ten may dig their heels in on these AQs. And the question is the SEC going to dig in with them at the same time?
Everybody else around the country doesn't want AQs. Everybody else.
Absolutely not.
Okay,
they
okay.
don't.
So, I mean, and still the SEC will get the benefit of the doubt, will they not?
Or they did last year. They got 3 in last year, and they desperately wanted 4. And
would you have put SMU in before they lost the conference championship game? So did you penalize them?
Well, it doesn't really matter what I think. It's what.
No, man. Well, I mean,
but did I think that one of those 9-3 teams in the SEC was better than SMU? Yes. Did I think Ole Miss was better than? Okay, but did they put them in? No. I'm reminded, and you're going to remember this really well, the media days we went to when Auburn was undefeated and left out of the 2004 national championship game because USC and Oklahoma started ahead of them, went the whole way, and Mike Slive got up and basically said in so many words, this will never happen to us again. We will change everything. We will never have an undefeated SEC team left out of the national championship picture again, and it hasn't been. Now, is what Sankey's saying, we tried this last year, and we got 3 teams in, and we play all these games in our conference, and then we play these power conference teams out of conference, and yet we only got 3 in. Now you're telling us you want us to play even more games. It's going to incur more losses. We're going to get less teams, and we ain't doing that.
First of all, 20 years ago, the SEC was not the heavyweight that they are now.
Correct. I agree.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. The year before that undefeated season, Auburn, okay, in 2004, LSU won. The SEC champion, LSU, was underdog in basically a home game for the national championship against Oklahoma. Yeah. The SEC was not what it is now. The SEC, now you go undefeated. No, it's not going to happen again. But the SEC also had to do it on the field. They had to do it in 2003. They had to do it in, 06. They had to do it in 07, 08, where, this is the SEC champion, and they're underdogs in a lot of these games, and blasting their competition. They had to prove it on the field and flex their muscles. Part of what Sankey, listen, we know he did admit today that they're on separate pages, that the Big Ten and the SEC.
Yeah.
The Big Ten has won the last few national championships. So they are closer in respect, but I've always wondered why. I don't know if the Big Ten deserved equal input of the SEC. The SEC is the model conference. I wonder where Sankey is getting a little shook up because he was having to kind of toot the SEC's horn a little bit more and saying that what was the famous quote that everybody ran with right out the chute? Hey, if you want to know what a super conference looks like, this is what? Why is he a little sensitive? Or what? You don't have to do. You're the SEC. When you're the biggest and baddest, you don't have to beat your chest, do you?
Well, they got 3. They only got 3 teams in last year, which is where I think a lot of this angst is coming from.
Okay. Because. And did all 3 of those teams have reasons why they weren't in there? So they're all bubble teams for that spot. And what did we like a fact that? Wait, you got to play an extra game like SMU. You're going to penalize them,
right?
So you would have SMU in before, but maybe not after, right?
Yeah,
and that was good.
And we didn't squawk about it too much because Ole Miss, I thought, was the best of the 3 teams that got left out. Out of South Carolina, Alabama, and Ole Miss, I thought Ole Miss was the best of those 3 teams. Did you?
Yes.
Okay. And Ole Miss had stubbed their toe against Kentucky at home and Florida, who was
1-7 conference record. Kentucky,
and so you lose,
the only one they lose.
Yeah, you lose your, you lose your bargaining chip at that point. You lose your argument when you say this is the team.
Losing at the Swamp with Lagway playing is not any crime.
No, but Florida was 7-5. They were nothing.
Charlie. They had a brutal schedule. They did not have their quarterback available all the time. In the middle of the Georgia game, you don't think him and being out. No,
I don't disagree, but the committee looks at it and they say you lost to a 7-5 team.
That's not. Well, that's why we're at where we
Yes,
are.
that is exactly
okay,
why
that's
we're
where we are.
That's
That's not a crime to lose at the Swamp with Lagway and that team that they were playing last year. Georgia, if he doesn't get hurt, could have, and I'll say would have, they'd have lost to them too. And that wasn't even in the Swamp.
Right. Yeah, that was in Jacksonville. What he doesn't want is to be bullied into. There were two big impediments to going to 9 games. One of them they've gotten, which is ESPN has agreed to put up the money for the extra inventory, for the extra 8 games. Okay, so that part is done. The other big hurdle was, are you going to reward us? Are you going to do anything but penalize us for this? Is 8 more losses that you're putting on the SEC. By mathematical definition, this is 8 more losses. So if 1 more loss knocked 3 of our teams out last year, we're not taking 8 more losses unless you give us some sort of.
The only way to do it, and people freaked out and had the biggest problem with the BCS and the computer printout. The computers will take into strength of schedule way more.
Yeah.
I think it's more important for him to figure out what damn schedules your teams are playing. We're going to kiss Texas' ass again? Huh? Are we going to do this on a permanent, long-term basis?
Yeah, we're
two-year
talking about
Band-Aid?
how many. We're not even talking about who you're playing yet.
I mean,
we haven't even gotten to that yet.
They had a cakewalk to the playoff this year and last year, okay? So at least this year they've got to go to Columbus, Gainesville, and Athens, and they didn't play 1 game that tough last year, okay? So this is tougher. But still, what is your teams? Are you going to hold on to these traditional games and going to have an equal? What are you going to do? That to me is way more important, because if you bury a Tennessee or a South Carolina, or even a Florida these days, if you bury Florida with this, they have no chance. They have very little chance. And where some of the others are going to be, I mean, I think the balance of the conference schedule, your own conference, is way more important than trying to figure out if you want automatic qualifiers or not. Most times, whatever, if they do settle on more than 5 automatic qualifiers, they're going to probably be in there anyway. They're not going to put it where your last 7 teams are, you know what I mean? They have some. You got to be in the top 16 to be an automatic qualifier. What's wrong with that? I mean, whatever it is, you can figure that out. I think it's way more important. This thing is up. This is the last year. What is the input from your participants? Because you control the path for a lot of these teams. And like we said, we've seen the history. A 5-3 record in the SEC is a 5-3 record in the SEC. And we know right now, as you expand, that's not necessarily so.
Who you play matters for sure, but they're going to. This is such a huge financial implication with number of teams in the playoffs that they're going to fix that. He's going to get what he wants first.
Yeah, you can't have the top 3, the next 3 waiting.
Yeah.
One of those has to get in from the SEC, huh?
That's what in so many words, I think that's what he was saying. I mean, this is the 21-year anniversary of this will never happen to us again. This will never happen to us again. Otherwise, we're going to take our ball and go home.
I got you. I say, and he can do it, but the only way you're going to guarantee that they take more strength of schedule in there is include some computers. You cannot.
Well, what the Big Ten's saying is give us the 4 AQs, and then we're fine. If you get more in than that, that's fine. But give us the 4
AQs is
out of both the Big Ten and the SEC. The 4-4-2-2.
So you get your champion and 3 more. Per league.
Yeah,
that's a little. Come on, man.
That's what the Big 12 and the ACC are saying. You want what? You're going to give us 2 and you're going to get 4? They don't need unanimous, though. He was very clear about that, too. He said the Big 10 and the SEC hold autonomy over this. We don't have to get approval from the Big 12 like we did on the previous contract. We don't have to get approval from the ACC.
That's true, but how much do you really need that to get those teams? If a team can't fall in there in the top 16 anyway, how much damage are they going to do in there?
Well, again, that's the whole idea. Is if a 3-loss Ole Miss just to take it doesn't get in, okay? Because there's a 11-1.
You're making your sport more college baseball when you just have to guarantee your spots like that.
Yeah. Well,
most times you're going to get them.
And the Big 12 and the ACC are, obviously way on the other side of that.
Yeah. Don't forget our friends at a Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds, Legacy Title for all of you. Real estate closings, Ashley Donald, Mariana Haynes, Adrian Galata, Michael Platt, Natalie, and Bradford Smith. Buying, building, refinancing. Nobody chooses but you. Choose Chad Reynolds at Legacy Title, 296-0060.
Live at the Walk-Ons in Bruley, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Walk-Ons in Bruley on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And we're also brought to you by Louisiana Health and Injury Centers, helping you deal with pain. Dr. Michael Goff and his staff done a great job for us over the years. Man, if you're hurting, just getting a little bit older, things starting to not work exactly like they did before. An old injuries creeping up on you. Let Dr. Goff and his staff pinpoint those areas and get you to feeling better through adjustments and exercise and stretching routine, or maybe a dry needle, electric nerve stimulation, cryo, or ultrasound therapy. A number of techniques that they'll use to get you to feeling better. Airline Highway, Plank Road, Jefferson Highway near Drusilla. Dr. Michael Goff, Louisiana Health and Injury Centers. One more thing about Sankey. I don't know how strongly you feel about this, Jimmy. It's gotten a lot of our friends over at Field of 68. Troy Macker is opined on this. A lot of the people that we have on the show about the expansion of the NCAA basketball tournament, which they talked about last week and which could happen sooner rather than later to move this tournament from 68 teams to 74, even 76 teams. Sankey came out today and said that he's in favor of it, which is not a big surprise that the league. But this is the first time I've heard the league take a stance on this. I think it's going to happen. Where do you land?
It's inevitable.
Yeah,
it is. Now, I'm a little gun shy after Anisimova, but Charlie, this is such a lock.
Yeah.
I mean, this is.
Okay, so do you like
because we love the college basketball season. We love how the teams play. A lot of great non-conference matches. Those tournaments are a lot of fun. During November and December, the Big 12 SEC or SEC ACC challenge is fun. We love it, and we love how, man, that arena can just turn into a special place when the home dog has a chance to knock off a big boy, and it's whether it's court rush or not, but it's got a lot of emotion. But for a way bigger source of people, it's a 3-week sport.
Yeah,
it's and that's the reality of it, and they got to make all their money in those 3 weeks. And they're going to make this a week-long first round instead of, 64 to 68. 64 it's symmetrical. It's a perfect bracket.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 4 16-team brackets. I mean, it's perfect. You 16, 32, 64, 128, the whole bit. But now they're going to stretch it out. They're going to have more content. And that's the one thing that's really sellable to advertisers, because everything else you can DVR and watch it at your convenience. This is the one thing in live sports. And so you're going to stretch it out? Yes. And he spun it. Oh, we feel that there's more than enough quality teams to make it.
That's where you lose me.
No, he's just selling it.
Sure.
He's selling it. But this thing is happening, and you follow. Man, look, Field to 68 and everybody else, they can. It's going to expand. It might expand a little bit further down the line as well.
They're going to go to, I think 76 is going to be the number. So essentially on the first 2 days of the first 4, instead of having 2 games, you're going to have 4 games. Per day.
So you get 76, you say?
So
you got to have 12 games to get 64 to get you even bracket.
Well, you got 68 now. So
right. Well, you got 4.
You're going to add 8 more teams. 8 more teams. You're going to add 4 more games. So you're going to add 2 games on Tuesday and 2 games on Wednesday. Is what I think is what's going to happen. So you're going to have essentially what.
But you got total before you get to your 64 on Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
There's 12 games that have to be played. You have to eliminate 12 teams.
Yeah.
You got 76. You got to get down to 64.
Yeah, so actually it's more than that. Yeah, it's more games than I'm thinking. So you have full days on Tuesday and Wednesday. Listen, I'm not going to say no to more basketball. Just spare me the argument about there's this many more deserving teams. This is not going to get another team out of the Missouri Valley in that went 26-5 and lost in their conference tournament. This is going to get 8 more teams in that went 19-12 in a power league. This is going to get a 19-12 team out of the Big East or
occasionally
the
you'll get a Drake or you'll get that UC Irvine
every now and then. Maybe one every 3 years or something.
Yeah, one of the 12 maybe, but yeah.
So
already doing it, Charlie. You already did it for 64 to 68. Who got those last 4 bids?
The power teams.
Right.
Yeah,
right,
and
right.
that's all this is going to be.
Yeah.
It's more everything. I don't see it as I mean, some of the basketball purists are just acting like they are. They're desecrating
doesn't matter.
The Mona Lisa.
When you get to Thursday, there'll be 64.
Yeah,
just like always.
And we're going to watch the other games. The first 4 to me has almost been like background noise. I watch the games, but I'm not. When I wake up Thursday morning, and I know you're like this,
right?
The tournament's starting, so this is like you're doubling the amount of appetizers you've got. Would I do it? Probably not.
Good thing they got like an Omaha type of community in Dayton that fills the stands.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing is you're going to have to expand this somewhere else. You're not going to be able to play all of these games in Dayton. You're going to have to
play 3 straight days, 3 straight quadruple headers. Tuesday, Wednesday, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Monday's a tough ask. I mean, if your bracket's coming out on Sunday to have teams in place Monday.
Well, you mean you can play?
I think you're going to have to add another site.
You play triple headers on Tuesday and Wednesday.
I think you're going to have to add
at 2 different sites.
Yeah, at 2 different sites, I think is what you're.
You know who will be in? Carl Omaha. They'll buy the tickets.
Yeah, put it.
They will buy the tickets,
put
man.
It in the,
they will support it, no doubt.
Finish up on Sankey. He shied away from the private equity. This is boring. This is not anything the football people want to hear, but it's something you need to keep in your periphery, that private equity will at some point invade college athletics. I think the SEC will hold out as long as they can. I think we're going to see this at some point down the road. But what he said was, they all want to give you the best case scenario. We'll come in and we'll dump this pile of cash on you, and this is how we're all going to make money. But he says it doesn't take into account for what if it doesn't go exactly how you're saying. What is the downside of this? So that can has been kicked down the road a little bit. And Jimmy, I do think you probably, I've heard you say this. I was listening when we were driving down last week. I think you said this to Rohan, that once we get to play in football, in this off season, look, the NIL and the Wild Wild West and all these terrible things. Once you get to the football part, college football and college athletics are fine. They're setting attendance records. Brian Kelly said this. I wouldn't even realize this. He said that LSU sold more season tickets than anybody in the country at 75,000. I wasn't aware of that statistic. I take him at his word. I didn't realize that was the most. Once you get past all of the bull crap,
if you didn't know
football,
you turn the damn TV on like you should. And I can make an argument, Charlie, that when you just watch the TV, it's better than ever. And this is why. Because, man, I think I whooped this guy in high school that's playing at, LSU, and I'm at Southeastern. Well, you go to Southeastern, you put some tape together. I mean, you get on the field and perform, they'll find you. They will find you, and you will be in an SEC school pretty soon. LSU had one of the better cornerbacks came from Southeastern, huh? I mean, they missed all the time in recruiting. All the time in recruiting. And, I mean, you go and, man, I see guys that sometimes, what am I playing for, man? We got 2,500 in the stands. Nobody really cares about us. No. I still have a dream of maybe going on the big stage. Go play. Go perform. They will find you, and they will add you to their roster. So I see a lot of that. I mean, I just see a lot of really, really hard play and really at all levels is what I'm saying. Now, listen, yes, the the mid-majors are weaker. Because you have no returning all-conference players.
Yeah, the mid-major all-stars are in the power leagues.
They're looking at a lot of film, but if you're voted by your peers and you're on the all-conference team, we're going to look at you a little extra, and you're going to get another opportunity. But I'm saying, man, forget they were kind of lame games, but those on campus, like Penn State, Texas, Notre Dame, for those on campus playoff games, that was pretty cool, man. I think that was a hit. I think that was a hit.
I have always wanted that, and it was an absolute hit.
I mean, I'm trying to level the playing field once you get to the playoffs, but man, you got to have some of that in your postseason, because that's what separates the college from the NFL. That separates emotion on the field and in the stands. It's just more than it is in the pro level.
This is my third straight last thing from Sankey, and try not to laugh.
We've got to go to break.
I'll keep this short. Paraphrasing the educational portion of this, we don't need to have 25-year-olds playing college athletics unless they've been on a Mormon mission or something. We're taking advantage. We're taking opportunities away from the high school kids. I don't expect him to do anything about it, but I'm glad he brought it up. So, because I don't think you need to be playing college football for 7 years either.
Well, he tied it into being on a legitimate path of earning a degree.
Yeah. I don't expect them to do anything about it. I just hope that I'm glad that they brought it up.
That's lip service to me.
That's why I told you not to laugh. Live at the Walk-Ons in Bruley, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
With Ott and Hanny from Walk-Ons in Bruley on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Wrapping up hour number one here from Walk-Ons in Bruley. That's right. So Max's favorite spot to hunker down over here on the west side. For day number one of SEC Media Days. But, yeah, Charlie, I was expounded on why it might be, expanding the field to 76 also, especially where the gap has widened between the Power 5 basketball programs and the mid-majors is just widening more and more. They poach. In basketball, the teams are getting, I would say that the gap is even wider than football, and some of the others. And, man, we're just eliminating more of these first-round lopsided matchups. It's fine to get, 2 to 4, 16 seeds out the way. 2 or 4, 15 seeds out the way. Because you saw the first round, what we talked about. You bet the dogs blind, you got smoked. Because their 40-point games in the first round are a regularity. And to see less of that once we start on Thursday, I'm fine with that. So and who are these guys that fielded 68 and all that? These are my buddies, man. Man, give me a break, man. Nobody wants to see. What did Duke win their first round game by? 48 or something, man. Yeah. What do you do?
I don't. Like I said, I don't think it's a desecration of the sport if they add 8 more games to the tournament that are played on Tuesday and Wednesday. Everybody's got an opportunity to get in. You play through your conference tournament. So, we're going to watch 4 more basketball games. It's not the end of the world. Daniel Dickinson, the latest Tiger to go in the 6th round, pick number 185 overall to the Milwaukee Brewers. We'll give you an update on everything going on with the MLB draft. Plus, Brian Kelly has already been to the podium. We'll talk about what he said live at Walk-Ons in Bruley, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
With Ott and Hanny from Walk-Ons in Bruley on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And return here at Walk-Ons, enjoying a nice summer day here on the west side. Come by and see us for lunch. And if you heading here, man, look, preseason football will be here before you know it, just a couple weeks away. Come on in, get a great seat, get a beer. Over 4 dozen beers on tap here, including some seasonal favorites as well as the standouts, all your regular domestic beers, plus some seasonal favorites that you can get here at Walk-Ons. We get you up to date what's going on with the draft today. If you miss this, they start in the fourth round. The very first pick of today was catcher Landon Hodge, an LSU signee out of California. So he will not be making it to campus. We talked about this a little bit. Omar Cerna, who's a very highly rated prospect, opted out of the draft about 2 weeks ago. So LSU is in good shape with Kate Arambini and Cerna. They won't get Hodge. He went in the fourth round. Miguel Simi from New York Country Day High School, right-handed pitcher, throws 101 miles an hour. He got drafted with the sixth pick of the fourth round by the Washington Nationals. Hodge went to the White Sox, by the way. Simi going to Washington. Some other notables: Micah Bucknam, former LSU pitcher, was at Dallas Baptist. LSU saw him this year in the regional. He went in the fourth round to the Blue Jays. Local prospect Luke Hill, who went to Ole Miss, went with the fourth to last pick of the fourth round at 132. LSU's biggest blow today so far has been Briggs McKenzie, the left-handed pitcher from North Carolina. He went with the 127th pick to Atlanta. LSU had been hoping to get him through, but that's not going to work. He's probably headed to Atlanta. Then we went into the fifth round, and who did I miss in the fifth round? No, nobody in the fifth round, Max? I'm trying to do this on the fly here a little bit. The sixth round was Daniel Dickinson, right? Sixth round, Daniel Dickinson to the Brewers at 185, and no Jared Jones yet as we start round number 7. They're going to take a little break, and then they're going to round number 7. Yesterday, first pick in the draft was not Cade Anderson. He ended up going third to Seattle. Washington threw a lot of people
I'd say
curveball with Eli Willits, the shortstop, 17-year-old shortstop out of Oklahoma. And then I think Willits was a top 5 pick, before this. I didn't think he'd go number 1. But to me, the second pick, Tyler Bremer from UC Santa Barbara, over all of those college pitchers that we talked about all year that would go in the next, 10 to 12 picks. Bremer was looked at more like a teens pick, early teens maybe, but certainly in the teens. Him going number 2. Anderson going number 3 to Seattle. They were real happy to get him. I was surprised he signed for $800,000 below slot at 8 point.
Why would he do that?
I don't know, especially as a Boris client.
God!
That shocked the hell out of me.
What the heck's going on, Boris?
That was a surprise to me. And then Ethan Holiday went to Colorado, where his dad played. Liam Doyle, a Tennessee pitcher, went number 5. Jamie Arnold slid all the way to number 11 from Florida State. Kyson Witherspoon from Oklahoma slid all the way to number 15. So some of the Gage Wood went number 26. They're talking about him potentially being in the big leagues for Philadelphia by the end of the season. That they may add him as a bullpen piece before the end of the season.
Yeah, that's a shaky bullpen.
That was
good team. That's got a shaky bullpen. So.
Anthony Ianson, who was projected in Kylie McDaniel's last mock draft at number 25, slid all the way to number 87 with the Boston Red Sox in the third round. Chase Shores ended up going number 47. It's about where we expected him to go.
So Shores goes ahead of Ianson.
Yeah.
Size, velo.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the measurables.
Right.
So, but, come on.
Ianson
was better.
Sure, Ianson had the better year, but at the end of the season, man, Shores looked fantastic. Tigers lost Dean Moss yesterday, the outfielder. They thought they had a good chance to get him to school, and they thought that they had a really good offer on the table for Ethan Fry. He went probably around maybe 2 before we thought. He was projected at 119. He ends up going 24 picks before that at number 95. Astros with an $800,000 slot there, and we're told that they're going to sweeten that deal a little bit. So thought they got a good chance to get Fry back to school, but no, that's not going to happen. Quentin Young went number 54. They were never going to get him to campus. Jaden Fauske, they were not going to get him to campus. He went number 44. Brady Abel went number 32. They weren't going to get him to campus either. So The surprises, if you're looking for that so far, they were hoping for Dean Moss, didn't get him. They were hoping to get Fry back, didn't get him. They were hoping to get Briggs McKenzie, the left-handed pitcher from North Carolina, in. Him going to 4th round today suggests that's not going to happen. Corona High School in California had 3 players drafted in the top 32 picks, Jimmy.
Pretty good.
Pitcher, shortstop,
Where are they
and
out
third
of?
baseman. Corona, California. I'm not sure what little city it's in. They did go 28-3. I had to look their record up. I'm like, they got 3 first-round picks on a high school team. I had to look their record up. I'm surprised they lost it all, but they lost 3 games this past season, but they won their regional championship.
Just outside of Anaheim.
Okay, so Orange County area.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where we're at on the baseball stuff. They're taking a break before they start round 7. We're down to slot value $314,000 and sliding about $2,000 to $3,000 per pick through the 7th round. Brian Kelly this morning. If you're looking for something that's really newsworthy out of this, these are sort of cheerleading sessions. You talk about all the good things with your team. That's fine. Kelly had a lot of nice things to say about Nussmeier, who is there, about Whit Weeks, who is there. Had some nice things to say about Harold Perkins, who's not there, but decided to come back. Really, open about talking about their struggles in the season openers the last 3 years, about how big of a deal this is. That'll probably be a theme throughout August. It's been a theme all through the summer. So this was the one that got me. This is such a valiant try that somebody asked him what he wanted to see as far as the NIL, the formatics of how we do things in college football now. He says it starts with the coaches. He says, starts with the coaches. We've got to have some kind of ethics in this. I applaud the effort, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, I'd like to end world hunger too. But he said, he was real. This was a funny line. He said, we had a meeting about NIL. He was meeting with a group of people or whoever it was. He didn't say who. He says, all I wanted to talk about was how we get around the rules. How can we enact a law?
Sports built on that.
Always has been. This is nothing new. It's just
so
you're
if you're
seeing how
gonna
the sausage is made now.
And so the what came out, you were in Big 12 country, but the Big 12 media days, a lot of the coaches were like, man, what some of these schools are offering these players, they're not going to be able to stay within this budget that we're all supposed to be playing by the same rules.
Yeah.
So, I mean, whether it's okay. All right, above the table, we're going to. This is going to be our equal budget, and they're going to do whatever they need to above. They're going to be able to overpay for endorsements if they want. I mean, it's just the sport. It has a deep-rooted history of trying to get around the rules, placing certain people in your administration to help you kind of get around these rules. I mean, yes. I mean, it's.
LSU's hired 3 people in the last week and a half to be in their front office. Okay, this is not to circumvent the rules. This is just to keep up with
some of the Ole Miss guys.
One from Ole Miss, one from Ohio State. They hired 3 guys. Austin Thomas knows them all.
All Austin Thomas appointees.
Yeah. They're all going to be under his purview. Their job is to basically scout the entire country, place a value on everybody.
Yeah.
And, hey, look, there's this linebacker from Colorado or Arizona. He's in the transfer portal. Should we go after him? Well, this is what our analysis – you can't wait until they get in the transfer portal. You got to have some kind of idea before that. So they're essentially scouting the entire country to say, this guy gets in the transfer portal, we got a number on him. Got a number on everybody on our roster. Got a number on everybody in our high school class.
This is not new. Okay,
it's just out in the open.
This is okay. Skip Bertman had 11.7.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, he had to put a percentage of scholarship that you get on different players, right?
Yeah.
You think Todd Walker got as much as the 35th guy on the roster?
He did not. He got way more.
Okay. Yeah. So this is, act like this is Chinese arithmetic or something. You better be, whereas opposed, I guess, in the past where everybody's getting the same, scholarship. But yeah, you better have a value. And I mean, they've done it to a degree. They're going to exhaust more efforts and do more things for the more highly recruited player. So, and of all people, the Syracuse coach. This is last year, and I was kind of their end of the year type of deal, or it was kind of we lost our guy, okay, but we were able to replace him with two guys for less money. It just had the perfect approach to having an accurate self value as Syracuse. We're not Texas. He flat out said, "We're not Texas. We're this, but we can offer that." And so we got to try and find guys from the MAC, and we got to, in the MEAC, and places that people can play, and we'll get them here. And if they excel, they may be gone. But everybody's got everybody's playing by the same rules as far as having these dollar amounts. Even Texas probably has. Texas is the Yankees right now. They can make more mistakes. Mm-hmm. Or maybe what the Yankees used to be. Texas is the Dodgers now. Dodgers, yeah. They can afford. There's no guarantee they're going to win, but they can miss on so many more. The smaller budget teams, even within the league, cannot. And so, I mean, we know that. I mean, but part of it too is, Brian Kelly, bro, that's ethics in recruiting. You are in the wrong business if you're calling for that.
Yeah, God bless.
There are no ethics. There'll be no ethics. There never were, and there never will be ethics in shaping a college football roster.
I applaud the effort, but I'm with you. So he's bullish on the offensive line. That was probably the one football note that I took out of that. He talked about Nussmeier's experience, and we got all of that. Bullish on the offensive line because of the time that they were able to put in grooming these guys. He brought up the example. He said the first year we were here, we had to put two freshmen at offensive tackle, Campbell and Jones. He says, we don't have to do that anymore. All of these guys, first of all, we supplemented it with two veterans from power conferences, Josh Thompson from Northwestern, who can play multiple positions. And all of the other guys that played, a couple of them got starts in the bowl game. You got about 7-8 guys. You got DJ Chester, who started every game last year at center, but will probably be a guard this season. He says he's bullish. Their development of all of these guys that have been playing backup roles is going to be one of the biggest stories, I think, of the camp and the biggest story of the early season. How far have they come? You're replacing two bookend anchors at those tackles. One of them the fourth pick in the draft. You're replacing four guys that were drafted off that offensive line next year. Continuity. Brad Davis got his work cut out for him. Not only do you have to ramp these players up as individuals, you got to figure out what five makes your best unit, and you got to figure out who you're going to cross train and what you're going to do with them there. He says he's bullish on them. I hope he's right. That's, to me, is the biggest question mark going into August camp. That in the secondary, but I think the secondary will sort itself out a little bit easier. So that's kind of what I took from it. Also, that he says, he talked a little bit about scheduling. He says, the one-loss records are not all the same. How are we going to select the playoff teams matters. Jimmy, I suspect we're going to get this in 16-part harmony from all the coaches. They came out of Destin with one clear objective, which is if we're going to increase our schedule load, we're going to make damn sure that the playoff committee, recognizes that.
None of the coaches want it, okay? And that's obvious, okay? They'd much rather, get that rent a win. And it's the lower tier teams. They're more worried about job security. Every one of these head coaches in the SEC are making more money than they ever have. And their biggest thing, and, it may be conversations with their agents, and how can I prolong this? How can I extend this, making the most money of my career? Because we've seen some guys that were pretty damn good coaches that got left out, and they just never got, opportunities, because if you fail on the big stage, it just, it hurts your career. Dan Mo's a pretty damn good coach to be where he is right now. I mean, pretty damn good coach. So they don't want it. The ones at the top, they trying to see how at the top where Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Texas, even Florida, but they're trying to see what's the easiest path to the college football playoff, because now those teams, and they don't care about the AQs. It's kind of perceived. You can't finish in the top 12. I mean, that's a fail.
Yeah.
That's a fail. So those teams, so it's kind of split. Kentucky, they want job security. Vanderbilt, Mississippi State, places like that. But the others are trying to see, the easiest path. And
I think they're holding this out as a bargaining chip. They're going to go to 9 games. It's just a matter of when. They just want to make sure that they get everything that the 9th, all of the upside of it, all of the money, which they've gotten that done, and they want to make sure that these games, if you're LSU, and last year instead of playing one of the rental wins, they had to play Georgia. Charlie, they want to make sure that matters.
I know we don't think, but the Pac-12's been playing 9 games forever.
Yeah,
the Big Ten's been playing 9 games forever. Okay, so I mean, like USC and UCLA, well, say what you want, but back in the day they were pretty damn good, and they would play 2 more high-quality non-conference games. I mean, USC's playing Notre Dame every year and somebody else. They played Auburn in the past. They played Oklahoma. They played, so I just, you don't get a guarantee. you don't, here's a league. Nobody forced you to come in this league. I mean, the rest of the country is tired of hearing about, the SEC wanted about getting to. Yes, it is the toughest schedule overall. I mean, most places, you 8 games and you won obligatory Power 4, a non-conference game, is usually tougher than what they're playing in other leagues. I get it. But, these other conferences have been playing non-games forever, and they didn't bark about guaranteeing a spot.
They didn't. But just this is what I think that he's getting at here. The 10th place team in the Big Ten is Rutgers, okay? The 10th place team in the ACC is Pitt. The 10th place team in the SEC last year was Florida. They wanted to disseminate the difference between playing Florida and playing Rutgers. If you're going to add another conference game, and I just picked 10 because it's kind of in the middle, there's a big-ass difference between playing Florida and playing Rutgers.
Sure it is.
And the SEC wants to make sure that that's acknowledged before they agree to go to this extra game. That's why Sankey came out and said, hey, look, ain't nobody want to change schedules with us. You want to play Rutgers? Fine. Hey, you want to play Florida? It's your extra game. It's a pretty big step up.
I agree. Don't forget our friends at Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, your law firm for a lifetime. And we talk about it, but when I was in an accident and my car was totaled, I was not in the wrong. I mean, it was, but the car is totaled. I need to get a rental car. I need to find a replacement vehicle. I need to. I got so much time to do it. I need to schedule doctor's appointments, chiropractor appointments, this, that, and Dana Brown. And then try and haggle with the insurance company from the person that hit me. No. Dana is going to take care of so much of this for you, and kind of send you the wave. Which kind of look, it's nobody. You're not. It's more of a hassle. You're hurting. You're trying to see if you're getting what you're entitled to, the whole bit. If these doctor bills are going to be paid, all this type of stuff, well, he's going to take care of all of that for you. So trying to make it as pain-free as possible. Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown, 343-1111 and ocbrown.com.
Live at the Walk-Ons in Bruley, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Lunch with Ott and Hanny from Walk-Ons in Bruley on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
We're also brought to you in part by the Thibodeau Store. TheThibodeauStore.com is the website. Lots of big specials going on right now. The DeWalt chainsaws on special right now. The Greenworks pruner saws are on special right now. And if you're going grill shopping, need a new grill, tons of the Charbroil grills, the Shop Pit Bosses, Tons of grills. Big Green Egg cookers are available there, too. Spreaders and seeders, outdoor power equipment, potting and topsoils, grass and weed control, all on special right now. Patio furniture on special as well at thethibodeaustore.com. All your cooking accessories and free delivery on selected items at thethibodeaustore.com. And if you're heading down there, 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodaux. This morning, Louisiana Tech was voted to be invited into the Sun Belt to replace Texas State. They're trying to get them in for the 2026
Where's Texas
season.
State going?
Texas State's going to the Pac-12.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The entry date is all that they're working on right now. It's going to cost them $5 million to get out of Coosa. They're trying to get them in for 26, but it may be 27. Louisiana Tech, of course, is on LSU's schedule this year. Jimmy, when's the last time Louisiana Tech had a winning record? I would have missed this one. When I read it, I was a little bit surprised.
The kid from St. Francisville set the sack record a few years ago. I think it was that year. Brother.
This was that year. The 2019.
Ferguson.
Yeah.
Ferguson.
Yeah. 2000. Yeah. Jazz Ferguson had played here and then transferred
I think
out.
They beat Marshall maybe in the bowl game, or he said it again. Okay.
They haven't had a winning record since 2019, which surprised me because I think of them as a pretty good program. Sonny Cumbie has gone 3-9, 3-9, 5-8. In his 3 seasons going into his 4th year there. I usually think of Louisiana Tech as a very solid, very good
Louisiana
program.
Tech and Southern Miss have both kind of been some of the ones that really have been affected. I mean, it was once a day when Louisiana Tech, I think Sean Cangelosi caught the winning touchdown at Tuscaloosa.
Right.
They went to Alabama and beat them. They could play with some other SEC teams. We know about Southern Miss's success back in them, but they're just kind of it's just a tough spot, man. They just don't have the budgets, and they don't have enough of a population base, I guess, they're not attractive to. We're going to take a third team from Mississippi. They're never even a consideration, you know what I mean? And they were once upon a time way more of an SEC type of program than a lot of others, you know.
They were always Southern Miss is a great example. They were the team that could play with an SEC team, like a good SEC team, maybe not the champion, but a good SEC team. They just probably couldn't do it 8 weeks in a row. But for one weekend, they had the opportunity to come in and upset you. That's the way I thought about Louisiana Tech or Southern Miss. Could they go play 8 SEC games in a row? No. But could they play one? Yeah.
Before the SEC, in the last 20 years, I agree with you. Before that, they were better than the SEC teams.
Some of the SEC teams.
The ones in their own state, for sure.
They were
built better than Mississippi State and Ole Miss. And as the conference affiliation and the revenue that sort of increased in importance, it's hard to reverse. I just don't see how but yeah. I mean, we all think about, that week 0 game where they're playing Nebraska off their head. Troy Edwards is clipping them for about 280, in Nebraska when they were in the heyday, giving them all they could handle. Just Rattay, and then it's just I don't know, man.
The Sun Belt's a better spot for them, though, don't you? Than Coosa.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's a better schedule. It's hell, I think it might be a better brand of football right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cusa's maybe last at this point. Them or the MAC.
Of all of the conferences since we started this merry-go-round 5 or 6 years ago, Coosa's probably taken the biggest drop.
I mean, we think of Liberty. When Liberty was there, they had a joke of a schedule.
At what point do you going to see some of these football programs shut down?
I mean, it's still
a lot of them lose money. A lot of them. And a lot of them survive on those rent-a-win checks.
If your football program is losing money, it's hard to make sense of how much money your athletic department is losing as a whole. Because if your football program is losing money, then what's making money? And if the football program is losing money, it's probably nothing.
No. Most We're in the SEC country. We think of all the revenue they're getting. A lot of athletic departments lose money. Tulane has lost money forever.
Yeah,
forever.
Most of them do. The number of teams that are in D1 just keep going up, though. Yeah. We added two more this year. When's the last time we went backwards?
I'm trying to look that up right now.
In which why a separation is probably. Are we dying to see Old Dominion play?
No. No, we're not.
Or the newcomers, Texas State recently, or whatever. I mean, are we dying to see?
How many would benefit from going back down a level? I mean, if you're a fan of UL Monroe and you're our age, okay? Well, in the 80s, they were a national contender in 1AA. Marshall's another good one, okay?
UL Monroe.
All these teams that would be competing for championship level stuff if they were down a league, but they went up to cash all those checks. So
they ain't getting a whole lot of checes.
Not as many as they used to.
No,
we're trying to eliminate those.
There's listen, man. When Saban, if he wouldn't have just been the stack the deck guy, he'd be a great voice, and maybe he can remove himself from coaching to where try and level the playing field or try and. I mean, these mandated schedules have to happen. They have to happen. I mean, you're the big boys, and just leave everybody else out. I don't care. Nobody wants to go see running time freaking college football games, and that's what you have. So make the SEC play the Big Ten and the Big 12 and the ACC and play all your other games against the conference teams, and then go play. I mean, yes, I lived through it. There were no rent-a-wins. There were very few at one time, and they did just fine.
It's a noble thought, Jimmy, but
you have to mandate it. You have to. Yeah, we've collective. Everybody's got to be on the same page.
We've been in a 5-year wrestling match just to go from 8 to 9. I mean, much less from 8 to 12. Against the power team. So
if everybody played 12, Charlie, the SEC would have no problem.
No
problem. The other teams and the SEC can dictate. The Big Ten can dictate right now. The ACC needs to step up. No, they don't want to play, their non-conference games in the ACC, and then one the Big Ten, one the SEC, and one in the Big 12. But so what? You want to be in this group? This is how we're going to play.
And you can play 10 conference games without the world falling off its axis. COVID, very few good things came out of COVID, but we got that, right?
The chances of mandating schedules are much easier than mandating recruiting practices. Okay.
Last team
I'm trying to be realist here.
Yeah. Last team I can remember dropping to the FCS was Idaho, and they were only in the FBS for a very short time. They were in the Sun Belt for about 4 years, so it doesn't happen very often.
No, you gotta make the economics.
Don't forget our friends at Total Maintenance. It's hot, huh? Yes, it's hot. So when it breaks down, you got to call our friends over at Total Maintenance. My buddy Lucas Ragusa has worked in the AC and AC repair business for every step of the way. From technician to manager to the whole bit. They're one of South Louisiana's oldest and largest AC and heating companies. Since 1980, they have been around. And boy, you hear that horror story? You got to try and sleep overnight without AC? Don't do it. Service today, every day means same-day service. Same-day service means you'll never sleep hot. Call today, get service today. Unit breaks down, call Total Maintenance. Show our friends that support us over here on the show, and also for Otterlocks. Total Maintenance, 480-1000, 480-1000.
Live at the Walk-Ons in Bruley, live at Lunch 104.5, ESPN Baton Rouge.
With Ott and Hanny from Walk-Ons in Bruley on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
And we're also brought to you by Coastal Capital Advisors, coastalcapitaladv.com. No two retirement situations are exactly alike, so let the professionals at Coastal Capital Advisors do for you what they've done for me, which is give you a solid peace of mind, come up with a game plan no matter where you are in life, no matter what your income or your age. They'll get a plan that works for you and build that lifetime relationship. Contact them at coastalcapitaladv.com. Member FINRA SIPC. A couple of updates on the MLB draft. They are nearing the end of round number 7. No other LSU guys have gone, although Paxton Kling, a former LSU guy, spent last year at Penn State. Got drafted by Max's Texas Rangers in the 7th round, pick 205. We're down to the last 2 picks of the 7th round. The slot money is hovering right there at $250,000 at $252 right now. So there's 2 names that we're watching for LSU right now. One of them, this is a little bit of a surprise. This is some good news. LSU's been hit pretty good here yesterday and today. A lot of it's expected. A couple of them that they were hoping to get through. But one of them that I didn't think that they were going to get was River Hamilton from Oregon. Big right-hander, 95-mile-an-hour fastball. He was committed to Oregon State. He flipped to LSU. He's still out there. I expected him to be long gone by now. He may have set a number that's a little bit higher than what they want to do. And then the other one that we were watching and we thought they were in pretty good shape with was Marcos Paz from Texas, a right-handed pitcher. Kind of had him as a lean to go to school. I had Hamilton as a lean to go out. Paz is a lean to come to school. They're both still on the board, as is Jared Jones, as we're at the last pick of the 7th round. I asked another question, Jimmy. This will resonate with you. Since you brought up 11.7 earlier, next year, full scholarships, right? First time ever. SEC has
so overdue, man.
Yeah.
And that's why we're seeing, starting to see already before it, with the NIL, that just a better players playing in college now, a higher percentage of them. This is only going to help that as well.
It's not going to keep anybody from taking the MLB money it's not that much money, but it's for all of those players that are college baseball players only, okay, that are not going to play professional baseball, and there's way more of those. So, it's not going to keep some of these kids that we're talking about today that go in the top 5 rounds of the draft from signing. It's not that much money. But for all those other kids that are playing college baseball and the time that it takes, the SEC hasn't decided on a number yet, but we're hearing 27 full scholarships next year. That much needed.
So to increase that, they are increasing by 16 the women's scholarships. There's this.
Yeah,
there's
Title IX issues. There's Title IX issues all up and down.
Softball get 4 more. Women's basketball get 3 more.
The league's
gymnastics
been
get 2 more.
The league's been a little bit tight-lipped on what they're going to do next spring as far as that. But yeah, the Title IX thing is out there, so
it's out there.
I can't tell you that it's not. I just know that they're finally going to be on full scholarships. So somewhere our friends that played in the 90s, and we got a lot of them that played LSU baseball in the 90s, are like, finally, in 2026.
Oh, no.
There's a full
the guys closer to our age, absolutely. They're like, where was it? Not so much the guys. The guy's parents.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are the ones that are paying for it. So, like I'm trying to get EJ a scholarship. No, I'm trying to get myself a scholarship to pay for EJ stuff. So that's the thing. But no, it will help. It will only help to attract more and more of the better players who could be in that on this after these days, that fall from 4th round, 5th round, 6th round, that maybe even 3rd round, that we've seen higher players, higher drafted players do it. So you get make it more attractive to play at the college level, and there's a lot of things that are better than it. And so, and we've seen this in other sports too. College basketball, I think, is definitely better. Definitely better with some of these stars playing. We got to get aggravated with the big guy from Kansas. Lamb, how long you been here? Well, he wasn't going to be that highly drafted, Dickinson. So, I thought that was the case with Edey. Now, it's still, he's playing some minutes, but, how can he play winning minutes on a college basketball team? But he was viewed as a college player that did. So you're seeing some older players, some better players. I think I think the college game has gotten better. And we've seen with the NFL players, the football players as well. Man, what are you doing? I mean, now, can they test the market, or they got to get better to see where he's going to last? But some guys we just don't know. But if he had to do it again, would he come back and make $8 million, or go play and get a seventh round? Be a seventh round pick in a draft body, a camp body.
He would have drawn
with the amount of starts he has.
Yeah, he would have drawn an offer well in excess of what Cam Ward got last year. If Cam Ward was
really
number one, especially if he got it late in the process. I bring up Tennessee. What would Quinn Ewers be worth to Tennessee this year?
They'd have paid him what Nico wanted.
Yes, or more.
Yeah.
I'm interested in the BYU quarterback is out there now. He got dropped out of school last week. They dropped the charges, but he was going to get suspended because of the honor code. Retzlaff, I think. Retzlaff. What's his market? I mean, we're 3 weeks away from camp. He's not as good as Ewers, obviously.
No, he's a guy that he was a kind of a run first guy too. That's trying to, needs to develop, but he's got starting experience.
I think he started 11 games in his career.
He was a starter last year.
Yeah, so full season.
And then they signed the number one quarterback.
Right. So
committed rather.
You get this. You get this free agent starting quarterback that's out here 3 weeks to camp.
What's going on in Provo? Number one basketball player, number one quarterback in football.
By the way, BYU did not allow him to enter the portal, so he had to withdraw from school entirely.
But he graduated, right? So it didn't matter?
Yes, he'll be okay to transfer.
This is their honor code violation?
Yes, he was going to get a 7-game suspension because of it.
He's the only player in college football last year that had premarital sex, apparently. That was the violation of the honor code.
I know what the honor code is.
I mean, God bless. I'm not Mormon.
But a lot of our listeners don't.
Right. So
you can't have.
That's what he got kicked out of school. Not kicked out of school for, but 7-game suspension. It was going to be more than half the year because he admitted to having premarital sex, but it was not assault, okay, which would have been a very serious charge. Would have gotten you kicked off of a lot of teams.
Well, you can't get caught having premarital sex on campus. But, yes, that's their honor code. A buddy of mine, and this is –
Jim McMahon went to BYU.
He's a fishing guide. Yep. Let me tell you about the Mormons.
Careful.
Bring two. Because they'll keep an eye on each other. Bring one, or drink all your beer.
This happened last year at a tailgate. Some Utah people came in to watch Jackson Dart, who was from their high school area.
That's right.
He is from Utah.
We offered him some food, some beer. I said, "Y'all drink beer?" He's like, "Yeah, I only observe my religion back home in Utah." So he happily took a beer easily.
Oh yes, there's no doubt. It's whatever, man. Well, it's all cool. Don't forget our friends at United Community Bank, our great team of bankers at United Community Bank: Heath Meir, Prentice Wilkes, Nicole Glover, Hunter Creed, David Campbell, and David Henry. United Community Bank, the local way to bank big, with locations from Baton Rouge to Golden Meadow. We've been serving the people of Southern Louisiana for over 50 years. United Community Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Live at Walk-On's Brewery, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Walk-Ons in Brewery on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Coming down the stretch here at Walk-Ons in Brewery. Max, Scottish Open yesterday, getting ready for the Open this week, final major of the year. Chris Gotterup ends up winning by 2 strokes. Rory McIlroy 2 strokes off the lead. We had some guys that were right there. At one point, when we made the turn yesterday, it was about 6 golfers that were all either 11 or 12 under at that point, and Gotterup ends up getting the win.
Yeah, it was competitive, good tournament. Chris Gotterup gets his second career PGA Tour win, but his first one was in an alternate field event, so this is a real step up for him. Former Rutgers and Oklahoma golfer, so another guy who's hit the transfer portal back in his college career. But
putted really well yesterday.
Yes, he was rock solid. Showed his mental fortitude and held off Rory, who just kind of got stuck in neutral. Parred the last 10 holes when I expected him to make a bit of a move and win this golf tournament. But you've got some guys who are poised for maybe a good week next week, at the right time. Scotty Scheffler hit the ball great, just couldn't putt. We've seen him really struggle here in links golf overseas with slower greens. He's kind of struggled to putt here, so we'll see if that's a problem for him next week in Northern Ireland. But Xander Schauffele, the defending champion at the Open this year, he had a very solid showing, 9 under, finished T8. But just some guys that kind of linger. We had quite a few that were in the mix. Oberg, Hovland. We had Jake Knapp, who was in the mix and had a terrible showing on Sunday. Unfortunately, finished outside the top 20 even. Matt Fitzpatrick, who was another consensus pick of ours,
Fitzpatrick was going to
just out of it, 3 back to finish tied for 4th. But ultimately, a nice win for Goddard, and we'll see how it translates to next week.
Where's the Open this year?
It's at Royal Portrush in Northern Ireland. Most of the courses are in Scotland, but this is in Northern Ireland. The defending champion at this course was back in 2019. Shane Lowry won pretty resoundingly, and he was a fan favorite considering he's from the Republic of Ireland.
But shouldn't, like for a guy like Scheffler, a really special American player, it's not that odd for this to be his toughest major to win, huh? With some of the European players having played more rounds on these type of courses?
Europeans do tend to have a little more success, although we've seen a lot of American winners at the Open as of late, just because there's more class. There's better players in America, so we've seen some good success here. But this leaderboard was certainly...
That's a snobby attitude, huh, Charlie? Go ahead, Mister.
The PGA Tour is
arrogant. Go ahead.
The PGA Tour is just the best tour right now. It's way better than the European Tour even used to be. It used to be on the level. Yeah, better than Live at this point. But only one American in the top 7 at the Scottish. And for what it's worth, when this tournament played here in 2019 at Portrush, I think there were only 3 Americans on that leaderboard in the top 10. So it has favored more of a European style of a golfer. So we'll see if that ends up coming true again this year. But I'm excited for this course. It's, to me, one of the better open rota courses just because it challenges you around the greens in ways that are different than maybe some of the older courses like St. Andrews and some of the others that we love because of how old they are, historic they are, but they're kind of there's too much wind that the distance really affects them.
Rory has won the British more than once?
He's won once, I believe.
Just once,
Yeah,
okay.
well.
When's the last time we had a repeat winner?
Ooh.
Seems like a new face every
Long time.
time.
Yeah, for sure.
Nick Faldo, probably, if I had to guess.
He doesn't know Nick Faldo.
About halfway through the 8th round, still waiting on Jared Jones and a couple of the prospects out of the class. Thanks to folks here at Walk-Ons in Bruley for being our host today. Tomorrow, we're at Mike Anderson Seafood Wesley at Nicholson. For Jimmy, Max, Jordan back in the studio, I'm Charles Hanniger saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer from SEC Media Days on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.